Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Sorry, I don't know. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Don't forget to Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter. There are links in the description below. Yeah, this is actually, I don't want to say the word revolutionary, but this is a wild idea. For a very long time, the idea of Bitcoin rising in price rests solely on the shoulders of a number of things. One, the dollar devaluation, inflation, gold's demise, I want to say, and also some type of a complete economic downfall. That part actually isn't like even an over-exaggeration. The history of Bitcoin lies in the fact that it was created because of the 2008-2009 crisis. At its core, Bitcoin kind of survived the early days by the idea that, if you missed out on that other video I made earlier this year, about the economy basically crumbling. Once again, if you don't remember, or you weren't here for that video, or you simply weren't looking at news at the time, there's a lot of possibilities. 2011, 12, 13, and 14, oh my gosh, my eye. Geez Louise, what was that? Like an eyelash. Gee, it's like it was attacking me. What in the world? The idea back then, that was terrible. The idea back then was, if you weren't watching the news, is that at any moment, the economy was going to crash and all falter again. That was like exactly what it was. I don't want to say fear-mongering because of what happened a couple years before that, but the idea was at any given moment, things were going to crash once again. And therefore, this is why I think Bitcoin kind of made it and became very popular as an asset class that would be able to outdo and or misplace gold and the US dollar because of economic wipeout. We've kind of had that resting on Bitcoin's shoulders for a very long time. Bitcoin is going to continue to do well regardless of what actually happens, just because of actual scarcity. I don't know if you really understand what I'm saying. A lot of the narrative of things within the cryptocurrency space revolves around A, like the letter A, is going to happen, therefore B must take place. If D is going to happen, well, X also has to be somewhere, it must be in that equation as well. We see this a lot with, if this coin has this upgrade, if this coin has this partnership, if this company announces that they're buying Cardano or XRP or Ethereum, etc., that coin will then do well based off of this one specific thing. Years ago, this was really intense. It was Bitcoin will only do well when we start getting near or surpassing the valuation of gold. Bitcoin can only do well if the US dollar completely collapses. Bitcoin can, you get the actual idea. So when I saw this, I was like, whoa, someone with an opposing opinion. I can't believe that. In a recent analysis, someone by the name of Matt Haugen, Hougan, is it Hogan or Haugen? Chief Investment Officer at Bitwise, shared his ideas on Bitcoin's price potential, saying that Bitcoin will reach $200,000 without requiring a collapse of the US dollar. For those of you who didn't hear me before and weren't here over the last couple of years, one of the ideas has been constantly that Bitcoin will A, do well, got it, but would only do well upon the actual destruction of the US dollar. Period. That's always been the idea behind it. Bitcoin can only thrive if the US dollar is no longer around. Bitcoin will only do well if fiat currencies as a whole have kind of completely warped in some kind of black hole into space or something along those lines. I think a lot of this has to do with the intensity of people within the cryptocurrency space, usually believing or having very strong ideas as to what could or would or will make Bitcoin in some sort of fashion stronger than it currently is, or kind of to where it could be. Because Bitcoin is so finite, as you notice, we see inflation happening. However, in the US dollar is not currently undergoing any type of hyperinflation. I mean, like 27% month on month, that kind of thing. Mathematically, as long as inflation continues and as long as people continue to buy Bitcoin, its price will mathematically rise because of supply and demand, and there not being a lot of it in general, but also on cryptocurrency exchanges. This apparently became a very spoken about topic on Twitter, as many things are, because he suggested that the US dollar doesn't have to collapse. And to be completely clear with numbers, the US dollar since 1971 has already lost 99% of its value, like because of devaluation. Every country does this. It's often touted as a good or an okay thing, but this is why things continue to become more expensive, because governments print more money, they say, for the expanding population, sure, and B, the real reason is for trade and commerce. If yours is listed at $1 and his is listed at 98 cents, I'm going to go and buy from him. If yours falls to 96 cents and his falls to 92, I'm still going to work with him. Governments devalue their currencies. You might have heard recently that China is, I think they're pushing, $120 billion, I think that was the number, into their economy, into their system, yada, yada, yada. You see people getting really happy and psyched up for it. It's because they're purposefully devaluing their currency to make it weaker. And you say, why? Why would you do that? It's for trade and money. People go, well, that country has what that country has. They're at $1. They're at 64 cents for the same exact thing that we need. We're going to shop over there instead. And this is kind of one of the ideas of what we currently really see going on everywhere right now, where governments are already turning back on the money printer, and the excitement of the idea of raising interest rates is that if interest rates are lower, people are more susceptible, good word, to take out debt. Debt is created also out of thin air, the same exact way that money is. They're intertwined. You go to a bank and you say, hey, I want to buy a house that's $1 million. I have $100K to put up for it. And they basically create that $900K million, like it's actually out of thin air. The way that it works is that you actually you write it into the computer and the information gets sent to the central bank and they go, okay, this is how much extra money that we have to create for the debt that was actually made, and therefore the dollar and every other currency gets devalued and it's easier to trade and all that other kind of stuff. He said, when you invest in Bitcoin, you're actually making two bets. The first, he stated, lies in Bitcoin's potential to establish itself as a resilient source of value. The second bet revolves around governments, which in his view continue to strain the worth of fiat currencies through excessive monetary policies. As fiat value depreciates, the demand for Bitcoin as a hard asset intensifies. We are probably, more than likely, going to live in a world, my opinion, my viewpoint on the last 8 years, we are probably going to exist in a world where Bitcoin is at $3.3 million. But the US dollar, the euro, and the yen also still exist. They'll be far weaker. But I think people have this idea of someone being in a room in some government anything, and they go, well, guys, that's it. Well, we tried. All right, everyone, see you. No, we're all fired now because fiat currencies are done for. No, they're always going to exist in some capacity, but they will not have the same buying power, if you will. It's kind of like in 2011, you can buy 2 pizzas with 50 Bitcoin. In 2024, you can get like a couple houses for it. So that's kind of my eye is just as insane. Anyway, the point is, without me complaining about my eyelashes, it feels like they're attacking me almost. It's kind of like keep blinking all over the place. Yeah, I saw this and I was like, very interesting to actually see someone else. Once again, I've been in this space long enough that I've seen that people have pretty interesting viewpoints about things in the world and the way that money works and the way that things will be in the future. And I tend not to argue with people because you can't argue with certain people. However, yeah, we're going to live in a world where all these things are just kind of together. He also made a comparison to gold, but that doesn't... His idea is that basically Bitcoin is going to go up and surpass gold, and therefore that will be the actual thing that people look towards, is that gold has gone under comparative to Bitcoin, and therefore we don't have to worry about the dollar disappearing. More so the value of gold slipping comparative to Bitcoin. But we've also gone over that 9,000 other times before, as gold has doubled, I think, in the last 10 to 15 years, and Bitcoin in 15 years is up by, I think it was 23 million%. Like that's the actual like number. It's like it's millions of percentages. So it should be pretty clear, but it's still not for a lot of people. Yeah. That's we don't have to wait for the dollar to disappear because Bitcoin will still do fine. Isn't that weird? Like Bitcoin just doing fine on its own. I mean, all these people are buying up every single fragment of Bitcoin that there is. I wonder what they're planning. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.